I think you just had a preference. And the person that has a preference along with you may not have chosen yet. Hey, everyone, we're here on the live again. I'm here with Miss TeeCee Okore. We are just basically giving you this wonderful series, continuing it here in 2024. We definitely had a lot of fun last year, talking a lot about lead generating tools, giving y'all some really amazing call to actions to get into our services and our places of promise, right? So that you're not struggling so much on creating this wonderful business that you have in mind. Well, myself and Miss TeeCee were actually talking, especially yesterday, and we got on Instagram and we went live and we said, ask your questions. Let us know where you're struggling and what it is that you are having issues with. And we know that a lot of people have issues with lead generation. As a matter of fact, this is the main question I get a lot about: how do I get more leads? And also the next thing after that is, how do I make the sale? And I get so many people that are great with like posting content every day and like, okay, I'll show up and I'll have a conversation on Clubhouse and yeah, I'll send an email. But at the end of the day, you have to understand what's effective and how you're using what you have, and also how you are effectively running people down a process. We call it a sales funnel because at the end of the day, your business is created for you to make a sale. Now, if you're not in business to make a sale, then go follow that hobby and enjoy it, okay? But in business, you have to have revenue generating activity all of the time. So we're going to talk about that, and I want to bring it back to a basic focal point when it comes down to how you are using what you already have. Last year, we gave out some tools. I gave out a list of 150 lead generating tools, okay? People who reached out for that and downloaded it and got what they needed. I'm glad that they have that, right? Because now you can actually go through a list and say, what do I want to focus on? What month? How do I want to bring people in? And what lead generating opportunities can I pick from this list to put into my business model, my marketing strategy? But what's interesting, though, is I told TeeCee, I said, we didn't have any questions on the comments yesterday in the live. And I don't get offended because I feel like that's less work for me. But at the end of the day, I'm like, why don't people ask enough questions? Because I talk to, of course, anyone who gets in my space, you have full access to that one-on-one where you're like, okay, I have questions. Let me go ahead and dive deep because I have time with you now, right? But when we're on these open stages and platforms like Instagram, the reason why we say ask questions, even here now in this live, is because you have to also have an open portal so other people can see that their question that they're afraid to ask, they can also get answered. And I've seen this in a lot of spaces. Let me just kind of like segue in that, because on Clubhouse, I don't know if any of you are familiar, or well, most of you are familiar because that's where we came from, but in the Win community, but on the other channels, maybe you're familiar, maybe not. And it's just an audio app that we use to really spread our message around the world. And I noticed that in those audio rooms, it's just really one of those things that we have to, kind of embrace the stage and really get people motivated into, understanding more about our business, right? But I want to make sure that we're being focused here, because at the end of the day, if you're not providing call to actions, right? Understanding what your revenue generating activities are every single day. If you are confused about, okay, well, what direction do I want to go into first? And then it's a hesitation where now you're not even showing up every day with that same call to action link to tell people to come down your sales funnel. And for those of you who are just like, oh my God, like that's a lot. I don't have a form. I don't have a website. I don't have all these lead generating tools. And maybe it feels overwhelming. That's when TeeCee, I believe, when she comes into place, not only will she manage that for you, but she will also teach you how to do it yourself. And so today, I really want to go back to basics. Like I said to TeeCee earlier, your phone, right? We use our phones for everything. I was looking at the phone hours, and I was saying one day I spent like 5 or 6 hours on a phone or something, but some people spend up to 11 hours a day on their phones. And I'm talking about most of this is social media activity. And we were saying that, lots of our lead generating activities that I've noticed, and TeeCee, you can tell me what you think, is that we're just posting and saying, hey, click the link. And, maybe we're sending out DM messages and saying, hey, I saw you do this and that. I was wondering if you want to have a conversation with me. There's a lot of different ways that we provide lead generating activities through the sales funnel. But the one thing I wanted to say is that back in the day, right, we didn't have a lot of that. And all of those things still work. And when we actually maximize off of what works and then take that principle to the next level, that's when we become ultimately successful in business, right? Like there's nothing new under the sun. So I think social media, digital marketing has made it a lot more simple when it comes down to getting things out easier, right? Like digital ads. But I still have physical ads that go out into my local market, door to door, different shops, right? Organizations that I want to work with. I have to show up and be the sales representative. So I want to talk to y'all about what are you doing right now that is actually promoting lead generating activity that you don't have to have everything that TeeCee talks about you having to have yet, because TeeCee is the one to provide it. So having to have all the answers and saying, oh, I don't have that yet. Oh, that's frustrating. Oh my God, I don't even know what a sales funnel is, right? Like this is why we're here. And I think it's so important to know this because we have to be available for ourselves to invest in moments. This is a moment for investing in your own self and knowledge. So when we say ask the question, we're saying like really open yourself up to a portal of getting the information that you need right now. You may not need a full hour session with TeeCee or me to develop your sales funnel. But I will say this. When I talk to TeeCee and TeeCee, tell me what you think. My cell phone is one of my biggest lead generating tools. Period. Why? Because not only do I have an opportunity, right, to get on an app and to promote whatever it is, and to pull from my photos and my digital ads and all these things, right? Because I got Google Drive on there. I have my Instagram, I have my Facebook, I have my TikTok, I have all of my platforms, right? So not only can I use that, also here's one thing. Back in the day when I started doing, I started running my first business, right? I didn't know anything and about business and how to do lead generating and sales funnels. I didn't know anything about that. But the one thing that my mentor told me that I heeded to, and I still do it to this day, he said, who do you have in your phone? And I was like, what do you mean who I have in my phone? He's like, who do you have in your phone? Like, who do you talk to either occasionally or you have spoken to before that you already have access to? And when we talk about lead generation, that's what I believe, TeeCee. I believe that it's really, regardless of how you get the information, regardless of how many forms you have, regardless of how many ways that you can support people with those different lead generating activities, whether it's, flyering and getting them in certain workshops and different things like that. But I just really want to start with the basics of it's really about finding people that you already have information on, communicating with them, and then building from there. Because when we start looking for all these outside supporters, because we now have a subscription, when we start looking for people to get into that coaching sales funnel, now I want to just like coach you for a whole 3 to 6 months, right? Like start with people that already like, know, and trust you. What do you think, TeeCee?
No, you're right because I'm going before I go into what you were talking about. I just had a call with someone who is a friend, right? She's interested in the Systems Academy, and she's like, TC, I don't know where to start. So I want to get a CRM, but I don't know how to get my emails into my new system. I don't know how to do this, and I'm like, okay, hold on, pause. You don't know anything. You don't want to start to pay for a 97 or a 100 and something or a 300 and something platform that you know nothing about. Like you don't even know how to organize the emails, not to talk of putting them in the system and then getting them to nurturing them. That's another thing entirely. Now converting them, it's a different section, a whole. Now what we want to do is start from where you are. Start from what you have, right? Right now, if you'd ask me personally, I would tell you, right, if I'm thinking sane and I'm thinking about you and I'm not thinking about making money, I will tell you the truth, right? You need to start with a, I won't call it a free plan, but they always have like free trial, right? Use, especially when it comes out with email marketing, use that, right, to get yourself acquainted with even how you get to plot all. Trust me, you don't know what an open rate is. You don't know what this is. You don't even know how to check it. And you want to start to pay how much every single month. Now, multiply that by 12. Some people can actually take them 6 months, 12 months before they even get to figure out anything. And you are paying constantly, right? I always believe that you want to start from where you are. Start from what you have. Allegra was talking about her phone, right? You might feel like we're laughing and you think, okay, no, they're not serious. We're serious, right? See, people that know you, I believe in. So I'm going to give myself as an example. My Systems Academy is basically like my new baby, right? No, not my new baby. Before my kids start to, like, well, mommy has a new baby. No, I don't have a new baby. Like, you know what I mean, okay? And I started off with talking to people that already work with me. And I see them in that space, right? Because the truth is, I don't want to start to stress myself to start saying, do this, run ads, and go here and do this because I want to get people to the academy. No, I have people in my space already, right? All I need to do is reach out to them and tell them, hey, this is what this is. I feel this is where you are, and I feel the academy is going to be good for you. How about you test it? How about you try it, right? And so I'm giving them, okay, you know what? I'm not going to give you a restricted contract. Do 1 month. If you feel it's not good for you, you can always back off, right? But I tell you, once they plug in, they're plugged in, right? That's how powerful it is. But I'm not going to start to tell them that because you see, they need to come in. But I'm not also going to start to stress myself and start going for what I don't have. I use what I have to get what I want because you see, when done right, these people are going to help you multiply that particular thing that you're setting. Right? Allegra talked about her phone. So I personally have 3 official phones. I have 5 WhatsApp numbers. Don't ask me how. I actually do. Now I realize
I was about to
that.
say disclaimer. TC works with those type of accounts, so ain't nobody got that many WhatsApp numbers. Oh.
Okay, yeah. Don't do that like me, okay? Because I work with it, okay? Then I realized that I can't afford to put my business on a particular WhatsApp number. Why? Because I realized that, you see, those people in that contact list, they're not going to support my business. So no, it's not a fight. We're not fighting. We're not. It's not like I'm upset with them. No, but you see, these people. Who are these people? Right? Are they business people? We didn't know anybody. Are they my? Do they fit into my ideal client? I checked all of those things. Right? I realized that, okay, you know what? It's going to be a waste of resources to spend my time on that WhatsApp number, right? And so it's still there. Allegra's like doing my eye. I'm like, so it's still it's still there, right? But I don't actively promote my business there. Right now, I have other numbers where I actively promote my business there, and because, okay, I do, like, lead generation, all of those, conversion with WhatsApp, text, all of those. So don't do it like myself. I'm just telling you what I do and what I have. Okay, now I realized that that is gold for me, right? Because every time I want to start something new, I start with the people that I know. I start with the people that vouch for me. I start with the people that at least like me enough to want to show interest in what I do, right? And then I reach out to them. That is one powerful lead magnet or lead generation tool that so many of us are failing to use. Some people would say, oh, what if I'm a coach and what I want to teach people? Like, what do you want to teach people that people don't know that you can? Like, I don't get it. Now, if you are not able to find, if you're not able to tell yourself that the contacts you have on your phone are not, they're not, they're not strong lead generation tool you can leverage on, what that is telling you, that this is me just talking, okay? What that is telling you is that you need to change your network, your circle, right? It means that you need to declutter your contact list. Like if they're not useful to you, what are you using? I don't know, right? Or leave them there. Okay, Allegra. Or leave them there, right? Or you leave them there and then start a new one. Because you see, at the end of the day, I would always say this: you want to start from where you are. When it comes down to making money is easy once you understand where exactly you're going to. Once you understand what you want to achieve, once you understand that, okay, you know what, this is my objective. And now you understand the objective. Now the second part is how do I get to where I want to go to? All right. And then you map out a plan. Now you map out a plan. You want to start from the known to the unknown. That's your funnel. That's your lead generation. Starts from the known to the unknown. Some of us, you know what overwhelms most of us, or what gets us to that point of desperation, is when we are poking our nose into the unknown, and we realize that because of there's anxiety with that, because you don't know what to expect from there, and you're putting all of your eggs in the unknown. That's going to get you frustrated. That's going to start creeping in, driving in self-doubt. And before you know what's happening, you start second guessing yourself. And before you know what's happening, you just lose focus, right? So I'll pause there just for now. Let's back.
I am cracking up. This is a really good conversation, and thank y'all for joining us. Make sure y'all give us hearts and let us know how you're receiving this information, because you're right. I love how you said going from the known to the unknown. The reason why I believe that's so important, and because I've been in business for 18 plus years, y'all, I tell y'all all the time, there's nothing new under the sun, right? There's a lot of us have been in business for a very long time. But the one thing that I've realized is that you can always start from the beginning in the basics. That always works. Every single time I've started a business, helped my clients start a business, or I've started something new, I've always gone back to the basics. That works. And when you said go from the known to the unknown, how many, who are you reaching out when you start the business? Because, and y'all, please let me know in the comments, who are you reaching out when you start your businesses? Are you going through your contacts? Are you finding people that you already know? Are you going to your local city and arenas that you know locally? Because one thing I've noticed in business, and this is something that we all do, we tend to want to stretch far and wide to help everyone. And then we end up putting out things and hoping someone just comes down this funnel of ours, but they don't know you. And that's the truth, and I've seen a lot of the things that we've done in the past as far as business is concerned. Like, we're all growing in this process too since the pandemic, because a lot of things have been revealed, right? And so we have to realize that just because you have, a logo and a social media page and a website does not mean that people want what you have, right? So when we think about going from the known to the unknown, that means that you already have people in your circle, and people that already may support you in different areas of your life. For me, my mother, my godmother, my family members, that selectively across the board, I knew who to reach out to whenever I started something new. And those same individuals were never exhausted. No one ever said, Allegra, stop sending me links to support you. And so being able to pull from a support system, and I'm not saying that you have to, and sometimes this is another thing, because we have to check our attitude in business. As business owners, no one is obligated to support. So being able to start with people helps you build your confidence better than starting with people you don't. Because the people will still tell you no. But that's an easier pill to swallow than someone you don't know telling you no. Because it's coming from a better place of, I just don't need it, or I appreciate it, but I don't understand, right? You get to actually work through that process with them. One of my first beta testers, and I'm going to tell y'all, I'm not going to tell y'all who it was, but one of my first beta testers when I started AJ CEO Business Coaching was a family member, and I will never, ever do it again. because I had to learn this. I will never do it again, because I had to learn, for me, where I could work with people, how I could work with people. And that just wasn't for me, and how I could, run through that process. But I will say, hey, if you saw the live or whatever, just send me a quick review. But I will never like systemically work with someone in my family again when it comes to that purpose. And that's just something that I had to decide. But that came from me actually reaching out to people I know and saying, hey, can you support me here? Can you support me there? And then kind of finding out along the way that, okay, I may go through some disappointments. I may go through a lot of people telling me no, because guess what? I just went through it. And I'm not so butthurt about it, because these are people that love me and they care about me. And also another thing I want to say about that, because starting from where you are, okay, because this means that, and listen, we all start from different places. For me, it was always a cell phone, and it was always people I knew. And I think it came from my pageant days at a young age, where I was going door to door to people that I knew, asking for those fundraising dollars. Like I said, it doesn't change, y'all. This is the same across the board. Even when we have fundraisers in school, right? Think about that back then. We used to sell candy bars and sodas and things like that, right? You still have to be the same way, going to people that you know and saying, hey, I know you like candy. I got a couple candy bars. They're about $5 a piece. How many do you need? Like, so simple. And the only thing that I want to say about that, because if you do start with those basic, and even if you have not, even if you say, when I started my business, I didn't reach out to a lot of family because I'm not even close to them, or I didn't reach out to friends because I don't really want to burden them, right? I want to challenge you, because not only am I challenging these triggers for people who have trust issues, I'm saying, like, listen, this is what's hurting yourselves, because there are so many defined, like, concepts that we have about people that are not real, that are not true. And so being able to debunk that by just putting it in a sales funnel and saying, hey, I'm going to start with the people I know. I'm not going to be emotional about it or think it's a personal thing. I'm just practicing. When you do that, you get to realize, how well you are in handling your relationships as well. So this is a big thing. This is not just, lead generation. I believe, as a part of business, is a teaching tool that's going to show you how you have relationships. It's going to show you how bold you are about talking about things that you do. And one of the things that I've also learned is that being able to start from where you are and saying, you know what, because who I reached out when I started my business, my mom, my godmom, right? I told y'all some family members. I had people from high school, college friends, right? Like, I'm literally in my phone texting everyone. And what I did initially, y'all, is I was like, people that I didn't talk to in a long time, people that I didn't really like, have that connection with anymore. I was like, hey, how have you been? And of course, they're like, I've been good, girl. How have you been? I've been great. Just started a business. Oh, really? What kind of business is it? Oh, I do A, B, and C. So literally having a genuine conversation, which is the first part of the sales funnel, and you're getting them engaged and you're getting them attentive to what you have. Now, I have seen this work time and time again. Okay. And so when we start, and this is why I want to start here, TeeCee, and we'll go throughout the year, we're having these real conversations with y'all so you really get the picture. But starting from where you are not only will build your confidence, get more people in your sales funnel, because that word of mouth advertisement is the best. Because when people believe in you and people love you and they care about you, all you got to do is say, hey, tell your friends. That's it. And you keep reminding them, hey, we still have a business. And I will tell you what the effect of that is. And TeeCee, I'm gonna pass it over. My parents have known I've had businesses over time. They understand that's what I do. I'm the first person in my family that is a full-time entrepreneur without having to work a job, period. Okay. So that is big for me, because that means that there's a differentiation between how I do my life and my business opposed to how people in my family understand me. So everyone's not going to be like 100% like, go, go, go. I understand what you're going through. I understand what that takes. They're not going to know. So I still have to curate those relationships to say, yeah, like, I don't expect you to know everything I do, but I'm going to tell you So just in case you want to support, you can. And now to this day, what, 18 plus years later, my dad will randomly out of nowhere, hey, how's business going? My mom will be like, yeah, I saw that. I see you're still doing your thing. How can I support? How can we share? So you want that, because as you grow, your biggest contributors to your success are going to be people who are already supporting you, and it will just grow from there. That's what I have to say for now. Go ahead, TeeCee.
Yeah, I like that because, so just so we're fair, right? Not everyone would have people who in our families who would get to support us, which is fine, right? So I'm going to tell you something. Now, support is relative, right? Support is relative. So I was on a call with my sister. I think that was like 3 days ago, and she's like, what was that thing you put on your page again? And I'm like, which one of them? And my dad came from the back and he's like, yeah, I was wondering. So, and he's like, don't mind. So he was like, don't mind your mom, because my dad and my mom they have this thing of competing on who likes my post first on Facebook and who comments. So after a while, I noticed that my dad doesn't comment anymore, right? And it's just my mom. And so that opportunity came in, and I'm like, so daddy, how come you're no longer? And he's like, don't mind your mom. Your mom is always competing with me. Like, and I'm like, do you actually know what I'm talking about? And he's like, well, I don't know. We just want to comment and say something, right? What are we supposed to say? Okay, you know what? Write down what we need to say. And it was funny. Now, that to me goes a long way. That to me is support. And I remember my sister saying, okay, so I don't like to comment. So she said she doesn't like to comment. She just likes the post. So my sister can, when she's like off work, she could do like 20 likes. I'm like, you are. Because now she does that. Why? Because I said to them one day, and I said, oh, you can just like, you don't need to comment, because they started to comment really odd stuff on my page. Don't comment, just like. So they say, so in my argument, I said to them, I said, if you like it, right, the algorithm tends to like push my post, and so because I said the algorithm pushes my post, my sister is like coming and like no, I literally had to call her. See, my points, right, is that support is relative. Now, if you'd ask me, can they buy from me? Can they refer somebody to my business? No, right? And that's okay. You know why? Because they share my post even without understanding what exactly I'm talking about. They like it, and that is enough support for me, right? Now, some people are lucky. Some people are lucky to have their family support them in their business, depending on the kind of business that you do. But you see, the kind of business that I do, my family do not understand, right? Now, the only thing they understand is the part where I tell them the algorithm likes it when there's engagement. And so they block my page engagement, and to the extent that my parents have something to argue about, right? But that's aside. You want to be able to figure out what all of these little things are to you. Define them. Define support. Right? Now, if you think that your family, your friends are going to like give you money, right? Be real to yourself. Not everybody has that. Not everybody is fortunate to have that, right? And it's okay, right? So it's the same way Allegra was talking about calling people. Now she's doing that because she believes they can support her. Now, even if they can't give her money, they can, give her something to take her to that next stage, right? Even if they can't, they can at least support her business, right? So starting from the known, starting from the people that trust you, right? Now, I'm going to give you an example. So my mom, my dad, those are like those people are just so funny. Now, they support me, and I'm happy with their level of support, right? Now, how they support me, they help me with the kids, they're helping my business. That's a lot of support for my business. See, that is bigger than any money you can give me right now, right? Because I trust them with the boys, right? Now, that for me is support. Now, we want to be able to define what we need, or rather, we want to define what we want from our business so that you understand what the steps you need to take to be able to get there. Now, for every point in time or from every phase in your business to get to your goal, that's lead generation. I was telling something to a client the other day and I said, when it comes down to my lead generation, like generating leads and attracting leads and all of that to convert to clients, I said my mom is an amazing lead generation tool for me. And the client was like, oh no, why would you say that? And I said, it's the truth. It's the truth. Why? Because she prays heavily for me, right? And so if I'm going for maybe a contract right now, I'm like sending a message. This is what I say. I say, don't call me, just pray for me. And I trust my mom to leave everything she's doing and she's praying for me. I did it the last time. That was like 2 days ago, and I got the contract. And you tell me that's not a lead generation, so I don't know what you call it. Right? I don't know what you call it, but that's what I call it. Now, what's a lead generation tool? Define it. A lead generation tool is basically anything that is able to attract, help you connect with willing and ready buyers. Now, her prayers has literally done the work for me, 70%.
So,
right?
So wait a minute. Can we just for real, just take a pause? TeeCee, you said something I think that we have to grasp in business as our own, especially as women especially as we're just taking over the market. Because women are in the lead when it comes to entrepreneurship right now. We are really holding the bag. And I've been saying this for the last 2 years, but I'm emphasizing it more because we are getting better at business as we grow. So it's not going away. But what you said, TeeCee, about, just really looking at what your lead generation tools are, sometimes I feel, and I'm just going to say my opinion here rather than the facts that I know, is that I really feel like we just are not thinking outside of the box enough. Okay. And we're also overcomplicating a lot. When you said that, just that simple part of having someone, and for people who are believers, right, that is huge, because that's where we get our faith from, right? That's where we get our answers, right? And so having that support, and some people will just be like, oh, I'll just keep praying and praying and praying. But listen, you said something I think is so pivotal, is that you have support and family members and friends that don't necessarily have to buy from you. They don't necessarily have to, it's great that they share the social media, but they don't have to do exactly what you want them to do, right? Someone may not want to comment, but they can like 50,000 times. Shout out to your sister. And I think it's just so important for us to realize this. And this is where we get stuck, because no one can tell you how to run your business. No one can tell you how to do things step by step exactly how you need to, because you have to figure that out along the way. You can try different things. Like I give my clients strategies all the time. And they're like, oh my God, Allegra, that worked. But I also did this and I also did that. And being able to be that person to know, because your business is yours. Like no one can run it for you. I've had so many people try to pay me to literally run their business for them. You can never, ever pay someone to just run the business without you being at the forefront of that thing. So I don't care if you pay someone, $1 million, okay? You're going to put them in place as a CEO. You're going to hire staff. You're going to get them to run a business, but that business is going to be their business. It's not yours, because your business comes from you. It comes from your ideas. It comes from your hard work. It comes from you identifying how you want to structure that thing and being able to elongate it, right? How do I grow this over time? And we start from the end, because we got to actually set goals. And the one thing you said, TeeCee, you said define what you want for your business to get to your goals. Define what you want. And so we have to get out of the idea of, well, someone tell me what to do all the time. Because when I look at the fact that if, you don't know lead generating tools and you're like, I don't even know, TeeCee broke down perfectly. But if you ever had a question about which lead generating tool you need to start with, you have a plethora You just need to start. And I think that that's really where a lot of the fear comes in, TeeCee, is that we're just afraid to start. And we are afraid sometimes to see that thing fail when we said to people, hey, I'm running a business and I want you to spread the information. We're afraid of what's going to come back from that. And the truth is that you need to see that as a business owner. You need to see where your support is coming from. You need to also understand where your relationships are. TeeCee, you were genius when you said, if your circle is not supporting you, you need a new circle. And these are really hard things for us to hear. But if you're going to be successful in anything you do, you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to take these things in account and say, how is this, relating to me? Am I doing this work? Am I actively being proactive about reaching out to people and following up? That's not a hard thing to do. It's just sometimes we're unorganized. Sometimes we don't feel like it. Sometimes we have negative thoughts and doubts about ourselves. So that gets in the way. But we are just encouraging you to, if you feel like that's the case, get the help you need. And when me and TeeCee get together, we do that. We support you in all of those areas. You have someone helping you work on your business and someone helping you work behind the scenes. But I just wanted to throw that out there, TeeCee, because you said that, and I think it's so important for people to understand. So back over to you.
I love that. While you were speaking, I remembered something else. And so most times I feel like because we are like what I've realized, right? In this past few, we need to have faith also when we invest. Yeah, that's true, Trisha. I agree. When we invest, we need to have faith. We need to we need to have faith and understanding what faith truly means, because faith, is work, right? Because if we don't work, we don't have faith. If we don't take action, it's not going to move itself. So what this means is I'm reading it in 100 dimension right now, and this is powerful, and I'm literally have noted it down because I'm going to tweet it. I'm going to tread it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to tread it. Like this. No, but that's.
I still don't like threads.
Allegra, we're there. We are there. Okay, so I was thinking about something. Most times when we talk about, our regular kind of lead magnet, we think about ebook, masterclass, life events. You forget that even the way you carry yourself is a lead magnet. We kind of make things so complex, right? We make things so complex for ourselves that it becomes difficult. See, I don't believe in, when somebody asks me, TeeCee, how much do you want to make? I just tell you the value of what I want to make, right? And I focus on that money. I focus on what I want to make, right? Now, how I make it, God is going to help me. Now, let me tell you how God is going to help me. I don't want to know. It could be when I strategize and I figure that, okay, all I just need is 2 clients to make this amount I want to make. I'm going to focus on getting those 2 clients. I'm not going to keep myself. So many of us, we overcomplicate these things, right? That's because we don't even know what we want. Trisha be just dropping those hits, those facts, like dropping it hot, and I love it. Because we don't understand what we want, it becomes very complex. Imagine somebody says, okay, you know what? If, for example, you come to me and you say, I think that's why every time I tell people that I'm not a coach, because you see, this is where I have a problem with people. You come to me and you start to talk, and I ask you, so what do you want me to do for you? Now, when you start to tell me you don't know, and that means you need Allegra, you don't need me. Because if you don't know, you don't know, I don't know. Let's go and meet who can know for you. That's Allegra, right? Not me. So when you come to me, like when you tell me, I don't know. Okay, so what's the objective? What do you want to achieve, TeeCee? I don't know. Oh, you already have told me you're not my client. because in that I cannot help you, right? Or rather, I don't really want to help you. Somebody else can help you. Allegra can help you. Like Allegra, that's Allegra's zone of genius. you know, but that's the truth. Now, how do you want to achieve what you want to achieve when you don't even know? I put out something on Facebook and I said that how do you want people to buy from you when you don't even know what you're selling? Now, we don't know what we're selling. It's going to be difficult to communicate it. And it's not because, see, I'm looking at Allegra, for example. Allegra needs what I want, what I have. She wants what I have. So Allegra might be looking at me here, right? Talking about everything I'm talking about. But if I'm not articulating it properly, we would still be here. She would not be able to understand that TeeCee has what she's looking for. Check yourself. Are you the reason why all of your lead generation tool has been falling into thin air? Make sure that you are not the reason why all of your lead generation tools are not working, because you don't even know what you want, and then you're creating a freebie. Freebie for what? What do you want to achieve? Ask yourself. No, seriously. Let's ask ourselves. Let's be honest for once. Allegra,
I'm breathing because that's pretty deep. It's really deep because I mean, we have to know what we want first. And I think it's so, and I think it just goes to Trisha too. She's like, take responsibility for your actions. Like, why did you start the business and why did you go out there just starting to sell something? You didn't even understand what it does for people, or you don't even believe in yourself. And I've seen the same thing happen where we do have ideas, right? Having an idea is great, but turning into a business and knowing what you want from it, that takes time to figure that out. And that's why you have to, like, one of the biggest things I would tell people all the time, and this was probably like 2 years ago, closer to the start of AJ CEO, is, I always get mentors and I always have support from my local small business administration. It is a free opportunity for anyone to have someone local to them in the US to guide you through planning your business from the ground up. I've done that several times. I even have a mentor right now. Shout out to Miss Ernest Cummings, who came from the Small Business Administration. And y'all see how amazing she is in this community. That's not by happenstance. She's just that type of powerful individual. But the way that I connected with her was through SBA. And so when we think about our businesses and how we want to operate, number one, you're right, TeeCee, we have to know what it is that we want to do. You don't have to know how to do it. You just have to know what you want to do, because there are people and places that will teach you. But when you said that we are the lead generating, man, my mind is kind of blown right now, because TeeCee is so right. When you don't present yourself well, like when you don't show up in a way where people can actually swallow and bite that thing down. Because I've actually had people show up, right? And we talk about lead generating, meaning like, say you want to do a conversation and talk about what you do and get people into your workshop. Okay. If you show up, and one of the things that I always say is, even if you don't have on the right clothes, have on the right attitude. Because if we don't come off as not only confident, engaging, and actually have a care in the world about what the heck we're doing, I can't tell you how many times I have literally turned away and left someone's clubhouse room, left someone's stage, left someone's email, and told them to never email me again, because the attitude and the way that message came off was just wrong. I've also had it where lead generating tools, and y'all listen, DMing someone can be a very easy lead generating tool, especially if you know what they're doing on their social media every day. Okay. And I've had people in my DMs all the time, and I'm using these examples because I've done it to people and people have done it to me. I think it's a great way to really say, hey, do I need to DM people this week? Right? You got to choose how you strategize your process. But the one thing I can say is that when you have that DM and someone responds and they say, yeah, I want to know more. Okay. That's when we start that sales funnel process, because we're like, okay, we need to know where to put them. If they're engaging and they're making decisions, right? Like, they're kind of skipping over a little bit that sales funnel, and they may be ready to make a decision today. Most people, when they look at your services, when you reach out, they look at you, then they look at someone else, and they look at someone else, and they make a decision. Okay. They're not just like, oh, TeeCee sent me a link, let me go get it. No, they're making a decision. And so that's why we have to connect and follow up and communicate with people. But the one thing about attitude that I just want to, finalize here, because we're almost done with this live, and I want you all to just get as much as possible out of this place of just being educated about the basics. Okay. People are very simple. If they want it, if they need it, they're going to get it. Depends on how you approach them if they're going to get it from you. So when you actually come into these spaces like social media, if you go into, networking events, if you get invited into communities on Facebook, right? No matter what it is that you do, right? Make sure that you have the right attitude and that you're really in alignment with wanting to meet your goals, be successful, and work on yourself throughout the process, because that's where I believe we get stuck, because you cannot work on the business and then, get that person on the phone. And then this is what will happen. They'll rub you the wrong way because they're like, no, I got scammed before. No, I don't want that. No, you get people that will hear your message. They will hear what you have to say. And then they'll say, I don't know, I guess that's my husband. I don't know. So you will get that. But you have to check your attitude. Because a lot of times people are saying it because they just don't like the way it's coming off. So being that lead generating tool, starting with you, I think is pivotal, TeeCee. So I wanted to elaborate on that. Maybe we can come back and talk about it some more next week if y'all want to have that conversation. But we have to hear some feedback because, it's really quiet in the streets. And we know that there's a lot of people that are, like y'all are paying thousands of dollars, are waiting to pay thousands of dollars just to get into a session, just to hear the same things that you can start with now. And then when you get in our sessions, you can get even more. Okay. So don't sleep on your progress. TeeCee, I'm going to go ahead and let you end it, and then we'll give them the call to action.
I love the part you said, don't sleep on your progress. And I feel like a lot of us keep doing this, but hopefully 2024, we're not going to do it. Right. And that could actually mean a lot of things. It could mean, the way we talk about what we have, the way we show up, our attitude, get a score mentor. Okay, so I love that. It could mean a lot of things, right? It could mean you, right? Because I realized that when it comes down to business, I don't want to go spiritual, but the truth is, depending on what you believe in, business is also very spiritual, right? Because in this day and time, business is really all about connection. And with connection comes emotions, it comes spirituality, it comes, inside, within, right? And so we want to make sure that where we are, is properly stimulated enough to attract the people that we want. Now, some people might work with you because of the vibe that they receive from you, not because they might not want to get it elsewhere, right? I've had clients, because I do like projects and also retainer and subscription, right? I'm very big on project work as well. And so I've had people go projects with me, and I just, give them their action plan, work through and all of that. I'm like, okay, you know what, this is what you get to do. Tell your persons or whoever that is working with you in your business. And 2 months down the line, I said, I'm coming back to me for a retainer, right? And I don't ask too many questions. I don't like to hit so much on the why coming back to me, because I know why. Even though I'm going to have like my, oh, what do you need and all of that. I know why. Because it cannot be the same, right? Because you see, when it comes down to, I always used to say this. So we had some things, we got some electronics and all of that for the house, and it's just like 2 3 months that we got it, and we're like trying to call the company that installed it for us. And my husband is like calling them, and they're like dragging their feet, giving excuses. And this is something that we were giving like I think about 14 months warranty, like and this is just like 3 months. The stuff is already having issues. We're calling the company. They're not responding. They're just giving excuses. And I said to him, I said, this is why, especially small businesses, do not last, right? Because you think that it's just about that one client. That's why I always say, get that one client, just one. Shoot them right. Get them to come back. Trust me, you can multiply them. Right. And so I just said to him, he was very upset. Oh, we just got this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is why small businesses do not stay in business for long. Why? Because they think it's about getting that one client first. They don't understand that the 6-figure, the 7-figure, the 1 billion figure is the way you're able to replicate that one client, replicate them and make more money from them. That's basically what gives you your money. And how do you do it? A little attitude can do the work. Right? Imagine if they had just picked up the call, because I don't know how to fix it. My husband doesn't know how to fix it. It's new, and you gave us such a long distance, and we're calling you now. You're not picking. What do you want us to do? Right? What you're telling us to do is, if we try to call like how many times, we have to get something new. Right? Now, what this means is, if we replace it, that's it. That's zero business, no referral. Like if I see your business anywhere, I just say bad experience. That's it. Because it's not because I'm saying you should be perfect. It's because I'm saying the aftermath experience, little things, right, with your lead generation goes a long way, right? So I wanted to say that.
We do have to end, y'all, but this was a great conversation. Thank you for channeling in. I saw Marjorie earlier. Shout out to her. Tricia, thank you so much. And just all of the comments, very much appreciated. We said this in the beginning, right? Your shares, your comments, your questions, it opens up portals, not just for you, but for other people. And when we have these conversations every single week, we know for a fact that someone is getting something out of it. And a lot of times, right, it takes some time for people to get the big picture. And so I just want to encourage you all, keep coming back every week. If you have any questions, DM us, let us know. We do have a webinar, well, a masterclass, not even a webinar, it's a masterclass, because we have 3 days that we're going to be working with some of you. I was just thinking, TeeCee, I wish we would put something together when it comes down to teaching people from the basics. Like, let's just get you the one client and let's monitor that process. And then once you master that, and this is, I think you said it so well, TeeCee, you say, we get the client and then we try to move on to the next one. And then we try to move on to the next one. And next thing you know, you have 5 clients and you don't even know what you're doing because you never ran down the full sales funnel process. And so I really want to get that, streamlined for some individuals, because everyone's not at this place of, hey, I've had my business for 5 years. Some people are just now saying, I just started my business this year. A lot of this information is great, but I haven't even made a sale yet. Some people have been in business for 5 years and they be like, I haven't really made a real sale yet. Like, I know people that dip in and out their business all the time, and I'm like, have you had that business for a while? They're like, yeah, but we stopped doing business in like 2022 and started back up in 23. So there's that too. And I just want to encourage people that that's not a bad thing. It just means that you have some more things to learn. And so we're going to be having these conversations so you can learn. If you're in this phase where you're like, I really want to master this lead generation process, I really want to master getting people down that sales funnel. And even if it's with just one sale, just with that one person, right? It's a great way for you to really not only be in a place of power, because if you master that one person, every single person after that is going to be like a piece of cake. It's going to be like, like seriously, there's no hard, like it's only hard because you don't know, you've never seen it. So I really want to encourage us to do that. And even if you feel like, okay, well, I can start from that place, reach out to me in TeeCee. We do great retainers to make sure you can have that support on the front end and back end. But we also want to make sure that if you are in a place where you're like, I really want to take my lead generating tools and I want to be able to use, you know, social media. I want to be able to use audios and live streams, which is the new phase of digital marketing. If you're not doing audios, if you're not doing live streams, if you're not out here in the world, people do not see you. I don't care how many times you put a static post on social media. I don't care how many times you're in the back of your website sending emails. Half the time, I don't even see my emails. I want to make sure that you have a place where people can see you everywhere. And TeeCee and I are going to do 3 days of curating that experience for you so that not only you understand how to be the best moderator and person to even build community yourself so that people can spread the word of what you do. And that's what we do in our business now. We're building community. So your lead generating tools do start with you being the first lead generating tool. But guess what else? If you are really good at getting out there in audio, visually, and live streams, you'll start to create community of people that understand what you do. And even if they don't buy from you, they're going to share your information to someone else. So now you are duplicating yourself as other lead generating tools that are out there talking about you as well. We've seen that happen in the WIN community very well, and we want to teach you how to do the same thing. TeeCee, is there anything I've missed as far as what people need to expect and they need to make sure, I'm going to put it up on the screen, that they DM us? We are not here about a click a link because we want to make sure that you are really involved in this process. We take the best of the best. So TeeCee, go ahead, I'll pass it over to you and then we'll end the live.
Okay, so I have 2 things to share. Now, if you are trying to figure out, you already have a business, okay? You're trying to figure out how to plan and organize your business for better conversion. I have my systems cleanup checklist. It's complimentary and it's not for everyone. So you want to DM me the word checklist and I will send you the business cleanup, the systems cleanup checklist. Trust me, I've been getting really good reviews from it. Like, trust me, it's your back pocket business operations guide, literally streamlining your entire workflow, right? So you can DM me the word checklist for that. Now, the second thing is the masterclass. It's a 3-day masterclass. I keep telling, I was telling Allegra that I don't know what word we can use in describing how powerful that masterclass is, because all that we have is like it's full. Like, we have exercises, we have templates, we have worksheets, we have, oh my gosh. And Allegra also talked about, like we also have like I think an hour or thereabouts for session for people who want to like have one-on-one sessions and all of that. Like, the entire framework for the 3-day masterclass is powerful, but yes, there's a but. So the but here is we have very limited space, right? And it's not open for everyone. As you can see, nobody's dropping links here. We're not dropping links because we don't want everyone to start tapping on the links, right? We don't want you to blow up the links, okay? Now, all we need you to do is DM that word masterclass, right? Because it's literally going to transform, with tools and resources, transform the way you're going to run your business this 2024. It's just a masterpiece. Like, I wish I can show it off, like what's going to be behind the scene, right? But if you want to know more about it, all you need to do is simple. DM myself or Allegra the word masterclass, and we'll get you a hang of it, right? Of what to do, your next step, and all of that. But it's going to be in February. But grab your seats now, because trust me, we have limited seats. That's it.
Thank you, TeeCee. You say it so well. TeeCee is like the best when it comes down to just getting that word out about the extensiveness of how in depth we are going to be with this. I haven't done a masterclass in a really long time for a reason. It takes a lot of work. And it really is about making sure you have everything you need. It also is about making sure that you're, opportunistic, because there's a lot to learn in business. But the one thing that I've understood is that if you're not intentional about investing in yourself and actually being attentive to your process, then you'll keep repeating the same mistakes. You'll keep repeating the same cycles. And we are here to break those cycles. All right. So y'all have an amazing day. Thank y'all for listening. Thank you, Trisha, so much for being here. You were absolutely amazing. Appreciate the hearts. Appreciate it. And make sure y'all continue to come back every week. We do this live at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time now. We want to make sure that you have a wonderful day. And so giving you this information ahead of time is going to allow you to process, work through it, and then reach out to us if you have any questions. Y'all have an amazing day.